I will talk about America discoveries and theories. Uh, well, it's commonly said that Columbus discovered America, but I think that he doesn't discover it. Well, he did discover to some point because for Western Europe, they know nothing about America. So until a very low point, he did discover something for their society. But actually, he just introduced this new continent, America, to Western Europe. It's like saying that humans invented fire when we actually didn't. We just discovered and learned how to use it and apply it in different ways. It from my point of view, I think it's something similar because it is said that he discovered it while he actually didn't. I like to think about the possibility or the future, well, or about our future if our ancestors were colonized by Europe. I think it's very interesting about how all our society will change. I think that maybe our society will be an atheist society because the predominant religions here are the Catholics, the Christians, but our ancestors were introduced by the force to this new religion and destroy our ancestors once. So I think that if our ancestors will not be colonized by Europe, will be atheist because most of the beliefs our ancestors had were about science terms that we yet not understood. For example, that the sun was a warrior that keep them safe and then travels below our world and then shine again like a victory warrior. Nowadays, we know that it's just the solar cycle that the Earth rotate about around the sun. So that's why I think we'll be an atheist society. Uh, well, talking about the Clovis and the pre-Clovis people, the Clovis people are the name that the first American had, and they were named like that because a settlement, an ancient settlement discovered near Clovis, New Mexico, dated to over 11,000 years ago. And DNA tests running there suggest that these Clovis people are the ancestors of nearly 80% of all indigenous people in the Americas. Well, and talking about the pre-Clovis, we call them because they haven't really been identified, but we know that there were a society before the Clovis people. But our science isn't made to go so further in time, so that's why we don't know about them. Well, moving on to the Vikings, theories and evidence. Uh, from my thought, I think it's very probably that all over the world they were Viking settlements because they were travelers. Nowadays, there's proof that Europeans visited what is now Canada about 500 years ago, but there were Vikings and evidence of their presence in the Canadian island of Newfoundland. So yes, as I said, is most likely for the Vikings to be found almost everywhere in the world. I don't actually know if that's true, but that is what I think. Because what I said, they were travelers, they were always finding new places, but they weren't nomads. They also settled sometimes in some places. For example, some evidence says that they settled here in Canada. So that's a very interesting thought. And the last one is this is the mystery of the sweet potatoes. The thing is that the potatoes are native from South America, but they find these potatoes in Philippines and in Asia. So they are one major theory that said that the Chinese people colonized South America years before Europeans were introduced to America, and this is because of some genetic tests, DNA tests that were run in that place that says that there is evidence that the same DNA that was found for the South America civilizations were found in Asia and vice versa. Also, there are some Chinese signs and symbols that are found in the Arizona pictograph they discovered. So I think that it's very likely because of the pictograph that were found in Arizona. Because even though there are some myths and beliefs common in various places of the world where they don't have much contact, I think it's way more difficult to find similar characters in a language systems in two different places that had no contact. So I think that it's very probably that people from Asia, especially Chinese, were uh, colonized South America civilization back then, and that when they do that, they take some of our fruits, like the sweet potatoes. That's the biggest theory about this mystery. Thank you.